Let's be honest, you've heard the promises. A tidy home, a clear mind. But you're standing in your own lovingly created chaos, and the idea of tackling it feels paralyzing. Have you tried the questions of KonMari asking your old t-shirt if it sparks joy? And have you considered the functionality of minimalism only to find this restrictive? And also, have you even thought about Swedish death cleaning and wondered if your loved ones will want your stuff? If it all just doesn't work for you, maybe you are ready for a method that doesn't ask anything.
For your own safety, you are reminded to stand behind the yellow line.
It's called the container method, a concept from organizing expert Dana K. White. It's logical, it's practical, and it might just be the secret to finally getting organized without the overwhelm. Let me show you how it works in our own house. Many people have moments where they feel like they're failing at decluttering. You might see beautiful minimalist homes online and you feel that little pang of guilt. You go back to the popular methods, holding up an old t-shirt, asking, do you spark joy? And honestly, a lot of the time the answer is, I have no idea, you're just a t-shirt. The problem is, so many organizing methods are based on emotion or a very strict philosophy. KonMari is very emotional. Tidying is about confronting yourself. And while that can be true for many, most of their stuff is just functional. A can opener, for example, doesn't spark joy, but you're not going to get rid of it. That process creates so much decision fatigue, and frankly, not everything needs an emotional attachment. And then on the other side, you have minimalism. It's a wonderful philosophy, but it can also feel incredibly restrictive for a family. There are hobbies, there are kids, and stuff. And this stuff gets used. Trying to pare down to some arbitrary number can feel like less freedom and more like a punishment. It's just not realistic for every lifestyle. And let's not even talk about that pull everything out rule. The last thing most people want is not create an even bigger mess. And this is where you can feel stuck. You want an organized home, but without the emotional drama or the rigid rules. You need a system for real life and not a Pinterest fantasy. The solution is a concept so simple, so logical, it's almost revolutionary. It's called the container method. And the core idea is this: your stuff must fit comfortably in the container it lives in. If it doesn't, it has to go. That's it. That's the whole philosophy. And also, for you to know, a container is a defined space, like a drawer or a shelf or a basket, a closet, doesn't matter. The container itself becomes the decision maker. You're no longer asking emotional questions, you're asking one simple, practical question: does this fit in the space? This is the complete opposite of the KonMari method. It's space first, not emotion first. You don't start by gathering every single item from all over the house. You work within one space at a time. One drawer, one cabinet. This makes the entire process so much less overwhelming. You're not aiming for a specific number of items like minimalism. You're simply respecting the physical limits of your home. It's about creating functional, usable spaces. So let's actually do this. We're going into a designated space in my kitchen, which is a chaotic mess, and we're going to tackle our first space, the dreaded spice drawer. Okay, welcome to my spice rack. As you can see, it's a work in progress. Let's start just with this shelf right here. Its job is to hold the spices. We reach for them when we're cooking. Step number 1 is define the container. The container is going to be this drawer, just this one. There's a fixed, finite amount of space. That's the boundary. Step 2 is called remove everything that doesn't belong. But wait, we're not pulling everything out. We're just scanning for obvious misfits. Maybe in your spice rack there are some birthday candles or some few rubber bands or a missed package of soya sauce or something. These are clearly don't belong there, so they're coming out. And you're gonna find a proper home for them later. For me, that's gonna be the baking powder, which doesn't belong here, so I'll find a designated home for that later. Step number 3 means consolidate alike items. Because now you just group the things inside the drawer. All the paprika together, all the oregano together, all the cinnamon together. And sometimes right away you can see that there are 3 bottles, yes, 3 bottles of cinnamon. And in my case, I have 2 bottles of onion powder. And you might not even know you have duplicates like this or a spice that expired 2 years ago. So this is the power of seeing what you have in one spot. Step number 4 is declutter down to the container size. And this is the magic step. Put the favorite and most used spices back in first. The everyday salt and pepper, the garlic powder, the Italian seasoning, one of the onion spices, And now add the other things used regularly, until the drawer is about 80% full. 80% is enough that it's easy to see everything and grab what is needed. And now you're left with the excess. In your case, maybe the extra cumin, or in my case, a duplicate onion powder, or maybe the jar of garam masala you bought for one recipe and never used again. According to the container method, if they don't fit, they don't stay. It's not an emotional decision. You don't have to ask if the third jar of cumin sparks joy. It just doesn't fit. The decision is made for you, and it's very liberating. And then step number 5, we heard before, the famous 1 in, 1 out rule. The drawer is now organized, feels way better. To keep it this way, use the 1 in, 1 out rule. If a new jar of paprika comes in, the old one has to go. This prevents the container from ever becoming overstuffed again. See how simple that was? No emotional turmoil, no giant mess, just a logical process that took less than 5 minutes. So this idea of practical, non-emotional decluttering is already clicking for you, and if you're finding this little investigation helpful, a like, subscribe would be amazing so you don't miss what happens next. We have a lot more spaces to get through on this journey, and I'll be sharing every single step. And now for the real challenge, clothes. The closet is where decluttering methods can often fail. The KonMari clothes mountain can be a personal nightmare for anyone. So instead, we're applying container logic. The container in this case is the closet rod and also these 2 shelves that I'm having here. That's it. And the thing is, you don't pull everything out. Work with the space that you have here. Start with the hanging clothes. For example, put first your absolute favorite in there or the most worn items, and then go to jackets and favorite dresses, slide them down the rod. As you might suspect, the rod will fill up very quickly before you even got into the back half of the clothes. So this container is telling you there is too much. The boundary has been set. And now your choices are clear. The question changes from, does it spark joy to me, to, do I truly wear this and that it deserves a spot in the very limited home that I've given my clothes? For every maybe item, you have to ask, do I like this more than something that's already taking up space on this rod? It reframes the whole decision. It's not about getting rid of things, it's about curating what gets to stay. The same logic works wonders for our kids' books right here. The container is the bookshelf right here. The goal isn't just to store books, but to have a shelf where the kids can actually see it and pull out what they want to read. So first, you take all of their absolute favorite, the most read books, and put them back in the container. And once their favorites are in, you fill the remaining space with other books they enjoy until the shelf is full but not crammed. Very important. What's left over? The books that outgrown, the duplicate birthday gifts, the paper bag with a torn cover. They don't fit in the container. Decision is made. Anything left over goes in the donation bag. So, like any system, this method has its strengths, but also its weaknesses. The biggest advantage is its simplicity and how practical it is. It removes the emotional agony and the decision fatigue. It's perfect for busy people and families because you can tackle it in small chunks. 1 drawer, 1 shelf by itself. You get that quick win without destroying your house in the process. And the built-in 1 in, 1 out rule is the key for long-term success. However, it does have its limits. The method, for example, is not for purely sentimental items. You shouldn't be asking if your grandmother's letters fit in a box. Those items require a more thoughtful process. And that's where a method like KonMari or even Swedish Death Cleaning can be more useful because they ask different questions. And also for some people, this method actually can feel a bit harsh. You might get rid of things you genuinely like just because you don't have the space. But you could argue that's not a flaw, it's a feature. It forces you to be realistic and to prioritize what is truly important enough to earn a spot in your home. It makes you confront the physical limits of your life. Tackling the clutter in a home is a chance for a fresh start, and that includes how the home is managed. The container method can be a game changer. It's a shift in mindset. It's not about minimalism or finding joy in every object. It's about creating a home that is functional, usable, and also easy to maintain. It's about recognizing that our spaces have limits, and respecting those limits allows us to live more freely within them. So, your relationship with stuff is just a mirror. Choosing a method isn't just about how to clean your house. It's choosing which part of your life you need to understand the most right now. And right now, maybe for some it's not about asking what sparks joy, but simply, does it fit? You might be surprised at how much clarity a simple container can provide. True happiness isn't in a perfectly empty room, but in the wisdom you gain from finally asking why it was full in the first place. So let me know in the comments what's the most cluttered container in your house right now. I would love to hear about it. Thanks for organizing with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.